My name is Maya. I want to tell you a story. It is a story about family and secrets. It is a story about a truth buried for 15 years. It is a story that changed my life forever. I always thought my family was simple. I had a mother named Helen. I had a father named Robert. We lived in a small house with a big garden. My childhood was happy and safe. My father Robert was a quiet man. He worked as a mechanic. He had gentle hands and a kind smile. He was not a man of many words, but he showed his love in other ways. He fixed my toys when they broke. He taught me how to ride a bike. He came to every school play. I was a daddy's girl through and through. My mother Helen was a teacher. She was warm and full of life. She made the best soups and told the best stories. She and my father seemed so in love. They built a life together. They built a home full of love and laughter. I never had any reason to doubt our family. I never had any reason to question where I came from. Then my father got sick. I was 17 years old. The cancer came quickly. It was a brutal and unforgiving disease. I watched the strongest man I knew become fragile. I held his hand in the hospital. His hands were still rough from work, but they felt so thin. He looked at me with so much love. "Take care of your mother, Maya," he said. Those were his last words to me. I promised him I would. After he died, a silence fell over our house. The grief was a heavy blanket. My mother and I clung to each other. We were a team. We talked about him all the time. We told stories to keep his memory alive. My mother would tell me about when I was born. "Your father was so nervous," she said. "He dropped his keys in the hospital parking lot." I loved these stories. They were my comfort. They were my anchor in a world that felt broken. Years passed. I grew up. I fell in love with a man named David. He was kind and patient. He reminded me of my father in the best ways. My mother adored him. She said I had found a good man. We got married in our backyard. It was a simple, beautiful day. My mother cried happy tears. I knew she was thinking of my father. I was thinking of him too. We had a son. We named him Leo. He was the light of our lives. My mother became the most wonderful grandmother. She would tell Leo stories about his grandfather. She told him how brave and strong his grandpa was. Leo loved these stories. Our family felt whole again. The circle of life continued. But sometimes I noticed little things, small moments that felt off. My mother would sometimes get a distant look in her eyes. When I asked about my father's family, she would change the subject. She said they were not close. She said it was a painful topic. I believed her. Grief makes people act in strange ways. Then one day my son Leo had a school project. He had to make a family tree. He asked my mother about her grandparents. "What were their names?" he asked. My mother froze for a second. She looked panicked. "Oh, Leo," she said. "That was so long ago. I can hardly remember." She quickly started talking about something else. It was strange, but I let it go. Another time we were looking at old photos. I asked if she had any pictures of her and my father when they were young. She said most of them were lost. "A pipe burst in the basement years ago," she explained. "It ruined a lot of our old things." It was a reasonable explanation, but a tiny seed of doubt was planted in my mind. I started to feel a distance between us. It was subtle. It was like a thin glass wall. We could see each other clearly, but we could not truly touch. I tried to talk to her about it. "Mom, is everything okay?" I asked. "You seem sad lately." She would just smile and pat my hand. "I am just getting old, Maya," she would say. "I miss your father every day." I talked to David about it. He thought I was worrying too much. "Your mother is getting older," he said. "She has been through a lot. It is normal for her to be nostalgic." I wanted to believe him. I tried to push the doubts away, but the feeling would not leave me. Something was not right. I felt it in my bones. The story of our family felt like a book with missing pages. I did not know how to find those pages. I did not even know what I was looking for. Then came the rainy Tuesday, the day that changed everything. My mother asked me to help her clean the attic. She wanted to find a specific photo album, one with pictures of my father for Leo's project. I agreed to help. I went up to the attic. It was a space full of memories. Dust danced in the light from the single window. The air smelled old and sweet. I found boxes of old clothes, books my mother used to read to me, Christmas decorations. I finally found the photo album she wanted. It was in a cardboard box under an old blanket. As I pulled it out, a book fell to the floor. It was a book of poetry. The cover was faded blue. I recognized it. It was my mother's favorite. She used to read from it when I was a child. I picked it up. Something fell out from between the pages. It was a single sheet of paper, folded neatly. I unfolded it. My heart stopped. It was a birth certificate, my birth certificate, but it was not the one I had seen before. This one was different. In the space for the father's name, it did not say Robert Miller. It said Samuel James Peterson. I read the name over and over. Samuel James Peterson. Who was that? The name meant nothing to me. My hands began to shake. The paper felt heavy. My vision blurred. I sat down on the dusty floor. I could hear my mother downstairs. She was humming. She was making tea. The sound of her normal life felt like a dream. I looked at the date. It was my birthday. The place was my hometown. Everything was correct except for this one thing. This one enormous thing. The name of my father. For 15 years I had believed Robert Miller was my biological father. For 15 years I had grieved for him. For 15 years I had built my identity on a story that was not completely true. I felt a pain in my chest. It was a deep aching pain. It was the pain of betrayal. It was the pain of loss. I had lost my father all over again, but this time I had lost a man I never even knew. Samuel Peterson. Who were you? I do not know how long I sat there. The rain continued to fall. The world continued to turn, but my world had just shattered into a million pieces. Finally, I heard my mother's voice. Maya, did you find it? The tea is ready. Her voice was so normal, so everyday. It was the voice that had comforted me my whole life. Now it felt foreign. I had to face her. I could not pretend. I folded the paper and put it in my pocket. It felt like I was carrying a live bomb. I walked down the stairs. Each step felt heavy. My mother was in the kitchen. She had 2 cups of tea on the table. She smiled when she saw me. Then she saw my face. Her smile faded. What is wrong, Maya? She asked. You look like you have seen a ghost. I did not say anything. I walked to the table. I placed the birth certificate on the checked tablecloth. I smoothed it out with my hand. I watched her face. I saw the moment she recognized it. Her face went white. Her hand flew to her mouth. Her eyes filled with terror. She looked from the paper to my face and back again. Oh, Maya, she whispered. Her voice was broken. Oh, my dear girl, I am so sorry. Tears began to stream down her face. She collapsed into a chair. Her body shook with sobs. The strong, capable woman I knew was gone. In her place was a heartbroken, terrified person. I sat down across from her. The tea steamed between us. The rain tapped on the window. The clock ticked. The world was still moving, but we were frozen in this moment. Who is Samuel Peterson? I asked. My voice was calm. It was a strange calm. The calm before the storm. And so she told me. She told me the whole story. The story she had kept buried for 15 years. The story she had kept buried for my entire life. Before Robert, there was Samuel Peterson. He was her first love. They met when they were very young. He was funny and smart and full of life. He had a smile that could light up a room. They fell deeply in love. They planned a future together. They dreamed of a house and a family. Then she found out she was pregnant with me. They were so happy. They started planning their wedding. They were going to get married before I was born. They picked out names. They bought a little crib. They were so excited for our future. Then tragedy struck. 2 months before I was born, Sam was killed. It was a car accident. It was quick and senseless. My mother's world ended that day. She was alone. She was pregnant. She was grieving the love of her life. Her family was not supportive. They told her she had ruined her life. She felt completely alone. She had to be strong for me. She worked until the day I was born. She brought me home to a quiet apartment. It was just the 2 of us. A few years later, she met Robert. He was a friend of a friend. He was kind and steady. He was not like Sam. Sam was a firework. Robert was a steady flame. He was a good man. He loved my mother. He knew all about Sam. He knew about me. He asked her to marry him. He said he wanted to be a father to me. He wanted to give us a stable life. He wanted to give me his name. He did not want me to grow up feeling different. He did not want me to carry the sadness of a tragedy I never knew. He wanted me to have a normal, happy childhood. So they made a decision. They decided Robert would adopt me. They would tell everyone he was my biological father. They would bury the past. They would bury Sam. They would create a new story for our family. A story without pain. A story without loss. It was a decision made from love. They wanted to protect me. They wanted to give me the best life possible. They thought the truth would only be a burden, so they hid it. They hid it in a book of poetry. They hid it in their hearts. They carried this secret every day of their lives. My mother looked at me, her eyes pleading for understanding. He was your father, Maya, she said. Robert was your father in every way that mattered. He changed your diapers. He taught you to read. He loved you more than anything. He did not want you to feel the pain of losing a father you never knew. We did it to protect you. I listened to her story. I watched her cry, and my anger began to melt away. It was replaced by a deep, profound sadness. I was sad for my mother. She had carried this weight for so long. She had lost her first love. She had raised a child alone. She had lived with this secret every day. I was also sad for myself. I had lost a father I never knew. I had lost the chance to know Sam. I had lost a part of my history. The story of my life had a hole in it, a hole shaped like a man named Samuel Peterson. I was also sad for Robert, the man who chose to be my dad, the man who loved me as his own. He had carried this secret too. He had loved me enough to want to erase the pain of my past. That is a powerful kind of love. I reached across the table. I took my mother's hand. Her hand was cold. I held it tightly. I forgive you, Mom, I said. The words felt true. I understand why you did it. She cried harder then, tears of relief, tears of grief. We sat there for a long time, holding hands, crying together. The truth was out. The secret was gone. We could finally be honest with each other. The weeks that followed were difficult. We had to rebuild our relationship. We had to learn to trust each other again. We talked for hours. I asked her every question I could think of. What was Sam's favorite color? Blue, she said. Like the summer sky. What did his laugh sound like? It was a deep, joyful sound. It filled the whole room. What did he want to be when he grew up? He wanted to be a teacher. He loved children. I learned about Sam piece by piece. He was becoming real to me. He was no longer just a name on a piece of paper. He was a person who loved my mother, a person who wanted me. I found the courage to visit his grave. It was in a small cemetery on the outskirts of town. The headstone was simple. Samuel James Peterson, beloved son. It did not say father. It did not say he left a child behind. I put flowers on his grave. I told him about my life. I told him about my son Leo. I told him I wished I could have known him. I also thought about Robert. I visited his grave too. I thanked him for being my dad. I thanked him for his love. I thanked him for his sacrifice. Knowing the truth did not make me love him less. It made me love him more. He chose me. That is a gift not everyone gets. I decided to tell my son Leo the truth. He was old enough to understand. I kept it simple. I told him he had another grandfather. His name was Sam. He was a very good man. He would have loved you very much, I said. Leo thought about it for a minute. So, I have 2 grandpas in heaven, he asked. Yes, I said. You have 2 grandpas in heaven. He smiled. That is cool, he said. Then he went back to playing with his toys. Children have a beautiful way of accepting the truth. My mother and I are closer now than ever before. The wall between us is gone. We can talk about anything. We can talk about Robert. We can talk about Sam. We can talk about the past without fear. The truth was buried for 15 years, but now it is free, and we are free to. We do not have to hide anymore. We can honor both men. We can love both men. Our family story is bigger now. It has more characters. It has more love. It has more loss, but it is richer for it. I learned a lot from this experience. I learned that family is not just about blood. It is about love. It is about choice. It is about the people who show up for you, the people who stay, the people who love you no matter what. I learned that secrets have a weight. They are heavy to carry. They can poison relationships from the inside. The truth may be painful, but it is lighter than a lie. The truth allows for healing. The truth allows for real connection. I learned about forgiveness. Forgiveness is not about saying what happened was okay. It is about letting go of the pain. It is about choosing love over anger. It is about understanding that people make mistakes. People do things for complicated reasons, often out of love. My mother and father made a choice out of love. They wanted to give me a better life. I can never be angry about that. I can only be grateful for their love. If you are listening to this, and you are carrying a secret, I urge you to find someone you trust. Share your burden. Secrets grow in the dark. They shrink in the light. If you have discovered a secret, be patient with yourself. Your feelings are valid. It is okay to be angry. It is okay to be sad. It is okay to be confused. Give yourself time to process. Give yourself time to heal that, and remember, love is stronger than any secret. Love is stronger than any lie. Love can bridge any distance. Love can heal any wound. My family is proof of that. We faced a truth that could have broken us. Instead, it made us stronger. It made us more honest. It made us more real. I sit with my mother now in her garden. The sun is warm. The flowers are blooming. We drink tea and talk. We talk about the past. We talk about the future. We are at peace. The truth she buried for 15 years is out. And we are still here. Our love is still here. That is what matters. That is everything.